Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday. Hope your week is off to a good start, you guys.
Today's call is the benefits of fiber, all about nature's built-in health hack and how to get more of it in your diet. I wrote that and I really do mean it. It's a health hack. You know, when everybody's trying to like sell you something and they're like, oh my gosh, this is going to improve your health so much. It's actually just fiber in real food that's grown from the earth. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So we'll do a quick overview of what fiber is, what the different types of fiber are, where you can find them. Kind of like their tag on Instagram, like, where can you find us?
Just like that.
Yeah. At Apples.
Yeah.
Yo, where the fiber at? So what'd you say?
What's the right hashtag?
Yeah.
Actually, that's not even an Instagram thing anymore, so I just dated myself.
I think it's still a thing. It's just maybe not as prevalent. We used to have like 50 hashtags after everything.
Yeah, that's more a TikTok thing now than it is an Instagram thing.
Oh, really?
As far as like getting reach. Sorry, total sidebar.
Don't buy fiber off of TikTok. And then we will talk a little bit about like some studies. I say some studies, but I really mean a lot of studies that show really, really good benefits. And just like we did on the sleep call, I will post in the YouTube video at the end of this video, I'll list like the citations for each of the things that we talk about so you guys can have it and go look at it. But yeah, I'm excited. Let's chat. So first question, what is fiber? Fiber is, you could call it a type of carbohydrate, but if you're looking for fiber on a nutrition label, it's going to be underneath the carbohydrate section. And that does contribute to your carbohydrate count, which we should talk about right after this. So type of carbohydrate that can't be fully digested or absorbed in the same way as other macronutrients. So it's not like digested and used for energy. Instead, it passes through our digestive system, mostly intact, and then it does a lot of different beneficial things for our bodies throughout that process. So let's talk about fiber on a nutrition label. Would you like to talk about it, Shalais?
Yeah, so everybody always asks, and I totally forget because this is how much I don't pay attention to, is it net carbs and what is it?
I think net carbs, yeah.
They're just net carbs?
Yeah.
So then they're like, oh, look, the net carbs are this. And what nutrition labels are usually trying to tell you is that those calories don't count from those fibers that are in your food, but they still do count. So you'll notice on the nutrition label sometimes that the carbs, when you add them up, so with protein per gram is 4 calories, per gram of carb is 4 calories, and per gram of fat is 9 calories. So if you were to do the math on a lot of nutrition labels, you're going to go, well, wait, this isn't adding up, especially if you see fiber in there included on the nutrition label. And then when you add the fiber back in, and actually they take the fiber out. But if you were to actually count the fiber, you would see that the correct amount of calories would be. So I know I didn't explain that very well, but a lot of times nutrition labels will get away with saying it's less calories than it is because they don't count the calories from the fiber that you're consuming. So you have to be very careful with that. So they still count. You're still getting calories from the food. So that's a big misconception that I get a lot, actually.
And so most foods on a nutrition label, if they're like a packaged food, so they have a nutrition label, it's not going to be a ton of fiber. But recently, a lot of companies have been adding in certain kinds of like isolated fiber or fiber like as almost like a supplement, or certain ingredients like flours that have more fiber than just a traditional wheat flour in order to boost that up. So let's say, for example, that you're eating something where one serving has, like, for simplicity of math, let's just say 10 grams of fiber. So that could be 40 calories, like what you were saying, Shalais, that could be subtracted from the total calories, because they're saying, like, well, you're not actually going to be getting calories from these carbohydrates because they are fiber. But the reality is that there are some calories that you get from fibers still, and that amount is not reliable depending on the source and a lot of other factors. You can't say this is the definitive amount that you get from fiber, or 1 gram of fiber, right? It's not the same way that you'd be able to say that with a macronutrient with a lot of, like, with a decent amount of certainty.
Correct. Yeah, and like you said, like with food and what it's included, especially processed food, they really have no idea what you're getting. So, and to top that off, they also can, most nutrition labels are 20 to 30% off anyways. So there's that as well.
Yeah. I always, I think when you enter in your own food on MyFitnessPal, I can't remember if it has you enter in the macronutrients and then it automatically calculates the calories for you, or if you have to do that math on your own. But
I'm pretty sure it calculates it for you.
yeah, and it'll use the 449 formula that you mentioned. I forget the name for that. Like, it's like somebody's name who came up with that system or that formula that we use. I just forget what it is.
Oh, I
Not
don't
know. Somebody had to come up with it.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. So yeah, net carbs. If you're ever seeing a food item that's talking about net carbs, or even if in your food tracker it has net carbs turned on, I would recommend to turn that net carbs function off. Don't purchase products at the store based on the net carbs, based on it. Buy them based on the actual amount of carbs, including fiber, and try to include more fiber in your diet, because there's one of the studies that I'll bring up. I'll have to remember this. This is an interesting point of, like, just including fiber in your diet can reduce the amount of calories that you later eat. And I wonder if part of that is because you are getting full, but you're not actually getting as many calories from the fiber. So it's like let your body keep track of the net carbs, not the nutrition label.
Interesting way to think about that.
Yeah. Like, our body will recognize the fiber, and then just it either does or doesn't get energy from it. But even if you're not getting that energy, it's still keeping you full and doing all of these other really beneficial things for your system that help with, like, a healthy metabolism, I'll say. It's like broad spectrum. So
yeah.
Cool. Want to talk about anything else before we go into, like, soluble versus insoluble fiber?
Well, I don't know where your notes are leading today.
Dude, that's it.
Okay. So the big thing we should say is it's not just about your digestion. Like, the benefits of fiber go far beyond just helping you poop. That is a huge benefit, and you want to be pooping on a daily basis. If you are not pooping on a daily basis, there's problems there. We need to talk. Yes, okay, sometimes something might happen and you might skip a day. But if that is a constant thing and you're constantly saying, I haven't pooped in days, but that's totally normal. No, it's not. It is not normal. I don't care if it's normal for you. We're going to fix it, because you should be pooping every day, because it does get, especially for females, but for men, I'm just assuming a lot of females are watching us, it gets rid of excess estrogen in the system. So we don't want to be estrogen dominant. So we want to get rid of that excess estrogen. So it's going to help balance our hormones. And that's going to be, obviously, as we get older, perimenopause, menopause, just women in general. We're constantly talking about our hormones and what they do for us and don't do for us. And, the the havoc they wreak on our mental states and all that, certain times of the month and all that. But you want to make sure that you are getting fiber because of that benefit too. With that, it's going to help lower your cholesterol. It's going to make you feel fuller faster. So protein and fiber together are like mwah, and like the biggest bangs for your buck when it comes to fat loss and staying satiated throughout the day, or not hungry and craving and having a ton of cravings throughout the day. Blood sugar regulation, these crazy spikes and drops and everything throughout the day. It's good. Fiber helps with that. Inflammation in the body, because you're getting rid of, fiber helps you poop. It's going to get rid of that inflammation too. Obviously recovery is going to help with that. And then everything that's going, my favorite thing to say to everybody, and it's totally copying. I don't know if you guys know Brandon DeCruz, and I think I've quoted him before a million times on this, but a healthy body is a responsive body. So when you're good on the inside, eating enough fiber, taking care of yourself, of course, it's going to reflect on the outside. So you're going to see it on your physique too. So having a good amount of fiber, everyone complains about like the bloat and feeling constipated and all those things. Fiber, that's fiber right there. And you can have too much fiber, but most of the time, most people are not getting enough fiber in their diet.
Mm-hmm. And as far as like the quantity of fiber, it's something that you can build up more tolerance for. So if you have a super sensitive system right now and you're not eating a lot of fiber to begin with, don't just go wild and crazy, because you will have a bad time. It will not be fun.
Yeah, I had a client who was getting about 10 grams a day. And she went to the doctor, and her doctor was like, "Oh yeah, you need to be doing 40 grams a day." I'm like, "Whoa, stop right there." I'm like, "No, you're going to hate life at 40 grams a day. Let's, slowly get to that point." So yes, it is something you kind of build up to.
Mm-hmm. When you have a client come to you, what is like your typical increase that you'll give them? Will you tell them like, okay, this week let's increase by 5 grams or by 10 grams? Or what do you think is like generally well tolerated by people if they're trying to increase their fiber intake?
You know what? I'm never very specific about it, about the number.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of watch it, and like more than anything, I tell them, let's just increase the amount of fruits and veggies that you're eating. I won't ever say like, watch this with your fiber intake. So yeah, it's more just making them aware of the food choices that they're having more than that number most of the time. So I don't know. How do you do it?
I will typically, like, if I have someone who is tracking their food, I'll look at their foods and say, hey, make this swap or add this food in instead. And in general, it'll lead to like a 5 to 8 gram increase. And I don't usually have anyone say anything bad about it. It's usually positive.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, yay, this is helping me like be way more regular every single day, or keeping me fuller for longer, all of the good short-term benefits. There's not a lot of things in life where you can do it once and notice the benefits immediately. Fiber is one of those things. Like,
yeah.
can we just reflect on that?
Well, okay, it's funny that you bring that up, because every single time I have a client come to me and we work on their meal plan, and this is especially true for people who are coming from a highly processed diet already, and then we're starting to add, okay, well, let's add more fruits and vegetables to your diet. Let's add more protein to your diet. A lot of the time, we're reducing the calories that they're consuming, but they say that they're feeling fuller. And there's a reason for that. It's because protein and fiber are making you feel fuller. You're eating less calories probably than you were before, but it's the fact that you're actually getting, one, the micronutrients and macronutrients that your body had wanted all along. But yeah, like you're getting that fiber and that protein, and your body is like, what the hell is this food? And it is a lot of food. Like I'm sure people have seen like Instagram pages where it's like, well, you could have a Pop-Tart that's this many calories, or you could have this much food that's just as much calories, and it's healthier. Like I don't know, nuts and fruits and all the things, and it's a shit more ton quantity of food, but the quality is so much better too. So yeah, you're gonna feel fuller. I forgot why I started down that road, because you had said something, but it is always that, like you said, it's always doing a food audit. What are you currently eating right now? Okay, let's make this swap for this swap, or really green bananas versus really brown or yellow bananas for fiber. Those are all going to be different things. Or apples versus I don't know. Usually it's always apples and kiwis and berries that I'm suggesting to people.
Yeah. And those are things that are available year round too. I mean, I'll typically buy frozen blueberries just because the not frozen ones are really expensive. But that does not change the fiber content that I know of.
Yeah.
So
usually frozen fruits are higher nutrients than fresh, because you lose the nutrient value over time while they're sitting there in the fridge. So yeah, frozen vegetables fruits and vegetables usually are better.
Yeah. I had said, I was talking about how fiber is one of those things in life where you can do it once and see the benefit immediately. So I don't know if your point was, if you start adding fiber in your diet, you will immediately feel like, wow, I get to eat so much more food than before.
Yeah, and it feels like a lot of food.
Yeah. Like, I got to eat all this. Yeah. I've had some clients tell me that, like, their families look at their food and they're like, are you supposed to be eating all that? Like, I thought you were on a diet. It's like, joke's on you, like, auntie, this is actually really, really good for my body.
Yep.
And less calories than probably what you ate for lunch.
Yep.
So, yeah. So a lot of the benefits that you mentioned, I have some studies so we can like break it down further on some of those if we want to. I mean, I don't have crazy detail on any of them, but just giving people some numbers if they want to be further convinced.
Back it up.
Yeah. So as far as like types of fiber, there's two kinds. So the first kind is soluble fiber, and like the name suggests, keep it real simple. I love that when science happens to just be like really easy to understand. Soluble. It means that it dissolves in water and it forms like a nice little goopy substance in our gut, and that has a positive impact on our digestion, our blood sugar, and other things. So soluble fiber can be found. So most fiber sources have like a mixture of both. And so I actually have a chart that I made for my clients, just because this is something I was kind of interested in. Is you can even have ChatGPT do this for you, where you say like, hey, give me a list of like some of the highest fiber fruits and veggies or whatever, just highest fiber foods, and tell me how much soluble fiber versus insoluble fiber is in each. And then you can like copy that, put it in Excel, and then you can look like, okay, if I want to prioritize soluble fiber, the kind that dissolves in water and is going to be like helping mostly my gut, then you can prioritize those foods and make sure you're including them. And then insoluble fiber does not dissolve. Oh yeah.
So with the soluble fiber, like you're saying, it gives that like little gel in the gut kind of feeling, and fills you up and makes you more satiated. It's because it's slowing things down too. So I just want to point that out to people in case they don't know that's what's happening there. So that's the one that kind of like helps stabilize your blood sugar, helps improve your fullness, the satiety, all of that kind of stuff that we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. Is soluble fiber, I can't remember, is soluble fiber the one that also like helps with your cholesterol? Because it is. Okay, cool. Yep. And then insoluble fiber does not dissolve. So that's like, I mean, the famous example is like corn. So if you're seeing it exactly as you ate it, chances are it's insoluble fiber. It does not dissolve. It adds bulk to your stool, helps with regular bowel movements. Is there anything else that insoluble fiber does? Or is
Uh,
that
I
mainly
mean,
it?
not that's definitely not it. I mean, that's like the basic terms of what it's doing. Yeah. So for like layman terms, that's what it's doing. But yeah, it's one that like it's one that speeds things up a little bit. So makes things, like I said, it's soluble, slows things down. This one's one that kind of speeds things up. So it's pushing stuff through. And so then that'll help your stool quality. So when we talk about the Bristol stool chart, that's what we're looking at. And then yeah, it supports, I mean, it helps detox your body too. So
So when you were talking about like hormonal balance and clearing out estrogen, do you think that there's one kind of fiber that helps with that more than the other, or is it just both?
ooh, that's a really good question. I would assume both
Mhm.
would support that because I mean because soluble is going to improve your gut bacteria, and your gut bacteria is very much related to what's happening with your hormones. Those two
Mhm.
are connected. So I'm gonna, I mean, and blood sugar. So also helps stabilize your blood sugar too. So that's gonna help with hormones. So I would assume both of them though would. I mean, I don't see why both of them would not
Yeah,
do that. You
cool.
know.
Yeah, just because I'm not super familiar with the mechanisms behind the like hormonal balance. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if like where each one is involved with the other. So
Yeah.
um
That after.
insoluble fiber. Oh wait, did I say where we can find soluble fiber?
No, we did not cover that.
Oh, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't have my chart. I should have. I'm just thinking now I should have had my chart, but um so insoluble fiber is in like fruit and vegetable skins, um, nuts, wheat. Most fruits and vegetables have some sort of insoluble fiber, but maybe not as much as some others. Do you want me to pull up like a list?
Um, I mean, we could.
Yeah, what do
So
you have?
yeah, so for insoluble fiber, like kind of what you were saying, like all the leafy vegetables, that's all insoluble fiber. And broccoli, all the I always forget how to pronounce it,
Oh,
cruciferous,
cruciferous, yeah.
the veggies, the ones that make you fart when you don't have the right sugars. But yeah, all of those, and like you said, nuts and seeds, those are all insoluble fibers. And then do you want me to go with soluble?
Yeah.
Okay, so soluble, we're looking at like oatmeal or oats in general, your berries, seeds, chia and flax seeds, like fruits, the apples.
Potatoes?
I was gonna say sweet potatoes and their skin. Um, those of you guys that are supplementing, a lot of times like the psyllium um, fiber, beans. Beans are a good one. I think that's, I mean, I'm sure there's more, but those are the ones that are on the top of my head.
Cool. A solid list. Yeah, and I think I'm looking at one of those like soluble versus insoluble fiber lists. So yeah, like apple has way more soluble fiber than insoluble, but it does have both that contribute to it. Um, Strawberries have more insoluble fiber than soluble. So it's just cool to look at a chart like this. So I would recommend just Googling this and take a look if you're curious.
Yeah.
But if you're not curious, just include fiber. Any of the foods that we mentioned are
Fruits, vegetables, and oats, and seeds and nuts.
yep. Sweet. So the only thing I have left is some of those studies that I was looking through. So we can go one by one and just talk about those and then see where the conversation goes. Or you have anything else you want to go over before that?
One thing, just to tie it back to something we had said earlier, when we were talking about like insulin sensitivity on our, I think that was was that our live? I mean, yeah, it was one of our lives, wasn't it? When we
Something.
talked about that, like everyone's like, oh, that means we have to get rid of carbs. Actually, no, it doesn't. And this is where like fiber and all the things that we just mentioned, great time to introduce them. You're still getting a ton of fiber in your system. You're getting carbs in your system, really great carbs. So don't exclude carbs just because you may think you're insulin sensitive. That's not what it means at all. And then, like I said, the ones that we just talked about can improve your insulin sensitivity. So you want to include these kind of things because fiber is going to help with that. And then fiber at night is a really good option. So really considering what you're eating at night right before bed, because the more fiber you have, the more satiated you're going to stay. So that's going to help, again, your blood sugar at night. So if you're one of those that's waking up in the middle of the night, and you might have, if you guys haven't heard of it, oh my gosh, I just lost it. Dawn. Oh my gosh.
I don't
Dawn.
think I can help you here. Look it up. While you look it up, I'll list off some high fiber foods.
It is the dawn phenomenon. That's when your body wakes up because of a surge of blood sugar. So if you're having a good amount of protein, or sorry, not protein, yes, protein too, but fiber at night, those will help a lot with those too. So really making sure there's a good amount of fiber in your final meal of the night before you go to bed, because that'll keep you satiated throughout the night, because that's that one time where, I mean, I'm assuming, again, people who are listening to us in the type of meal plans we create, that's one time at night that you're eating. You're not eating as often as you are during the day. You're fasting during that time, and your body might have some blood sugar but blood sugar drops in the middle of the night. That fiber will help with that.
When you said the dawn phenomenon, I was definitely picturing DON, not DAWN.
Yeah. So when it wakes you up in the middle of or first thing in the morning, really, well, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. So again, one of those, whether it's cortisol, dawn phenomenon, progesterone, again, going back to the whole sleep conversation, it's all connected.
It's all connected. We're that one screenshot. I'll edit it in right here. That one screenshot from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's looking at the board and he's got all the lines.
Exactly.
That's us. Too funny.
And this is the other one. I guess I'll say this because we also work with competitors. When your calories get low, this is one of the first things that starts to drop, because we are cutting back on carbs. So we have to be very careful about the amount of fiber that you're taking in during that time, because calories are dropping. That means the fiber is probably going to be dropping too. And this is where, supplementation might be what you need to add in there just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's the opposite too, where you're so hungry and you're like, I'll just eat all the vegetables. And then that's not good either, because then that's a lot of vegetables and a lot of fiber, and that's not good.
Mm-hmm. Maybe one thing that just popped into my head is, if you are someone who's increasing your fiber intake, please also increase your water intake.
Oh, good point.
At the same time. Don't go excessive in either direction, but and I don't have any like specific amount of water that I say to drink if you're increasing fiber by X amount. It's not that serious, but chances are, if you are like a newer client or you're newer to this whole like healthy eating thing, you're going to need to increase your fiber, and you are probably going to need to drink more water. I've never met someone who drinks enough water and also doesn't eat enough fiber. Like the two just go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Speaking of, sips water. All right. Shall we go through some of these studies? I say go through. I'm just going to give a 1-sentence summary.
Really quick. Do you want to talk about how much fiber men and women should have? Like what a good number is? Because we never brought that up.
Let's do it.
Okay. So for women, I would normally say anywhere between 25 to 35 grams is a really good spot to be. If you're a little bit more active, you can probably go a little bit higher than that, obviously, because your body is burning through them a little bit more, but 25 to 35 is a really sweet spot for that. Men, you can go a little bit higher. I would still say anywhere from 25 to 45. So, and again, slowly titrate up. If you're not getting that much, don't jump to, from 15 to 40, because that's not good either. So, yeah.
And so that like 25 to 35 for women, let's say, I think it's important to, especially for clients tracking their meals or looking to learn more about the structure of their meals, it's really important to break that out into like how many meals are you having per day. So if you're having 4 meals per day and you want to get 30 grams of fiber in, then that means about 7.5 grams per meal. So things to consider when you're picking out foods, especially when you're picking out your carbs, because that's going to be the source, right? So you're not going to be getting fiber from your protein or your fats. It's going to come from carbs. So your carb choice, that's where the whole like good carbs versus bad carbs comes from. Or one reason for it is that. So like if a carb is going to have more fiber in it and it's going to get you up to that fiber, like your daily fiber target, that's going to be a good choice for your carbs.
And this is where, because we've brought it up before as well, where the carnivore diet isn't always the best option because you're not getting that fiber and you're going to have probably some big issues there too. So, if you are doing carnivore, it shouldn't be a really long phase. It should be a short phase and then, thinking about adding the fibers in and getting the carbs in later.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely should be cycled in and out and not a long-term thing.
Yeah. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. So I have a list of like, I don't know, maybe 6 or so that we can just talk through. The first 4 that I have here are meta-analysis of multiple studies. So that's pretty cool. Just saying like, hey, let's look at all of the results of all these studies that meet this criteria and see what the like underlying consistent result is. So the first one I kind of brought up earlier. It was found, so they compared soluble fiber to a placebo, and they found that the soluble fiber alone created a calorie deficit in overweight individuals simply by increasing like satiety and slowing digestion. So just the natural effects of having soluble fiber in their diet or more of it than they were used to caused them to create their own calorie deficit by the fact that they just felt more full and their digestion was slowed. Wow. You didn't even have to do the work. You just got to eat the fiber. If you eat it, you get good things.
Well, and here's what's funny. I'm going to relate this to something that's a big, huge topic these days. Peptides. What do peptides do? They slow down your digestion. They slow down motility. So you don't want to eat. Oh, look, fiber. What does fiber do? Oh, really? It slows down things a little bit for you and it makes you feel a little bit fuller. So what do? You stop eating. So, and I don't want to say stop eating, but you know what I mean? Like you're not going to eat shit food and you're not going to you have all these massive cravings because now you're giving your body the food that it needs and the micronutrients that it needs too.
Mm-hmm.
that processed foods do not give you.
Yep. And like you mentioned earlier, when you combine that satiety effect of fiber with the satiety effect of protein, mwah.
Yeah.
Quoted from Shalise herself. Mwah.
That one I got from you, Taylor.
Yeah, so that study's super cool. Next one, let's see. So this one, okay, so that one was a meta-analysis of 12 different studies. They were all randomized control trials. So that's good stuff. Next one was 51 randomized control trials. They were looking at the different forms of fiber, and what effect they had on insulin resistance and blood glucose levels and different markers that you can measure relating to, like, what would that be considered? Just like, what's a blanket term for that? Like, I don't know, just blood sugar health, or we don't need a name for it. But this one was looking at overweight individuals without type 2 diabetes. So they don't have diabetes, but they are overweight. And depending on the type of fiber, there was improvement found in fasting glucose, fasting insulin levels, A1C, and blood sugar spikes after a meal. So kind of like all the things that you would measure. So fasting blood glucose is like right now, what is your like blood sugar level? Is it elevated? Is it at a good spot? A1C is what you would get measured if you were trying to see if you were pre-diabetic or managing diabetes. And that's kind of like a 3-month snapshot or so of your average blood sugar levels. And then just that blood sugar spike that you get after a meal. Not saying that your blood sugar spiking after a meal is bad, but controlling that and having the curve be a little bit flattened versus like a huge up and down is good for a lot of things. But I would say the most measurable thing is probably like how good or bad you're going to feel after that meal, and how stable that energy is going to be. So that is very cool. Again, just adding in fiber, not doing nothing else, right? Just taking these people and saying, hey, throwing fiber at them and seeing what happens. That's what's so cool about these studies, is it's not a difficult or dangerous thing to do, and the results are so clear. Next one was related to blood pressure, which I did not really realize, but this was a meta-analysis of, I did not write how many studies it was, but it decreased both systolic and diastolic blood pressure by like over one point. I forget the exact unit that's used for blood pressure, millimeters or not millimeters, something. But it was especially effective in adults over 40. So if you're getting older, definitely prioritize fiber. And then also hypertensive individuals, populations. So that's pretty cool. What'd you say?
Millimeters.
Of what?
Blood pressure. Blood pressure is measured in millimeters. Sorry. That's what you said, right? It was blood pressure?
Yeah, but millimeters of what?
Oh, millimeters of mercury.
Ah, thank you. That's what I couldn't remember. What's the abbreviation for mercury? Transport me back to chemistry class.
The chemical symbol, Hg.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's something I didn't even really think of, that if somebody says they have like higher blood pressure and they're trying to manage it, that yes, we always say, okay, we'll eat a healthy diet. But I think people think about that in like a heart health kind of way, but not necessarily like a fiber helps decrease your blood pressure kind of way. So I might read more about that one and see like what the mechanisms are behind that. I think that's super interesting. Next up was about cholesterol. So this one was 67 controlled trials showed that soluble fiber was associated with small decreases in total cholesterol as well as LDL cholesterol, which is considered like the bad cholesterol. So that's cool. So like quick summary, let's see. For cholesterol, like a 5 to 10% decrease. Blood sugar, A1C levels were down about like 0.5%, which if you are someone who is familiar with those measurements, that's significant. Like that is the difference between normal and pre-diabetic, is that like 0.5%. Energy intake, so like how many calories you're going to be eating, like 10 to 20%. That's also very significant. So if you are eating like a 2,000 calorie diet, 10% is going to be 200 calories, 20% is 400 calories. 400 calories is a full meal that you are eating less just because you have some fiber in your diet. Wow. Nuts. Gut microbiome diversity, you talked about this, Shalais, a little bit. So this specific study, I don't think the one that I'm talking about right here is a meta-analysis. I think it's just a single study, but it was talking about seeing an increase in short chain fatty acids, and that then helps with like insulin sensitivity, your gut health, reducing risk for metabolic disease. A lot of talk on Instagram right now is talking about like the gut barrier. So, and so that was something that was quoted like related to this study. Do you want to talk any more about that? I don't know enough to say more.
I wouldn't feel confident enough to say much about that right now.
Okay. And then last one was inflammation. So just like general inflammation markers that you'll see increased with things like chronic disease or obesity or like other things of that nature. Those numbers go down as well, just from increasing fiber. So it's kind of the main things I wanted to mention, but all those are backed by science. Yeah, I just think it's super cool when something is so easily like tested and repeatable to where you're going to see it in such a diverse population. And I know some of these studies are focusing on overweight individuals, but that's also like we may see a bigger effect in those individuals, but that does not mean that fiber doesn't help all humans. Like we're all getting the same benefits from them. It's just more noticeable in populations who like are not currently doing it. So you see that bigger gap in the results. So some of those numbers that I quoted, even if they are relating to a population that you are not part of, you're still going to get the exact same benefits, just at a scale for your body. And if you stopped, you would probably notice the difference.
You would feel the difference for sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's all I have for everybody today. Shalais, anything else you want to add before we end? This is our last call of April, because next week we're going to the Real Coaches Summit. Shout out to Aram, the man, the myth, the legend. He's not a myth. He's very real.
He's very real. And his speakers that he brings are very real. So that's it. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Yeah. If you are a coach or even a client that's just super passionate about learning more about health and fitness and getting a taste of like, what is it that coaches and educators in the health and fitness space think about, this conference is like top tier. You'll get to meet some really, really cool people, really, really smart people. And chances are you will also party with them, because I was just in that chat and it's going to go down.
Now I'm kind of bummed I'm not going on Saturday night.
Work hard, play hard.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Yeah. Anyway, fiber. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Just again, it like the benefits overall of fiber. Like I cannot protein, fiber, sleep. Like those are the huge benefits to any change you make. Will be the biggest benefits to any change you make right there is getting enough protein, getting enough fiber, and getting enough sleep. Those are like the things to look at.
Mm-hmm. And I'm pulling up I just pulled up our when we did the what did we call it? It was the health hierarchy when we placed everything on a graph.
Oh,
I just pulled it up, and over all the way on the right for longevity, we have fiber. Up at the top, we have sleep. And then counting macros was, tracking with macros, whole foods was right underneath sleep. So those were our top three for body composition and longevity. So we are consistent.
we are consistent.
Cool. Well, thank you, Shalais, for joining. If you guys would like to find us outside of this video, I'm on Instagram. My username is TaylorCE, TaylorCE.
And I am at Shalacb, SHELACB. Let me start over. Got ahead of myself. At Shalacb, SHELACE _IFBB Pro. And then, of course, the fun one, Team Iron and Lace. And that one is at team_iron_and_lace.
The best page on Instagram. Because we're on it.
Damn right.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I will probably be posting the topics for May next week. So instead of our normal Monday, we'll post the topics for May, and we can start looking forward to those.
Yeah. Good deal.
Have a lovely week, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening.